Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off talking about PSP emulation on iOS with PPSSPP, and I've got some good news for you. PPSSPP Free is back on the App Store. Additionally, it's been updated to version 1.17.2 and contains these new features and fixes. Metal Vulkan-based rendering through Molten VK for better performance, much improved UI text rendering, many bug and crash fixes, support for retro achievements and nickname change, and swipe from left edge to go back. On top of that, they say if you do enjoy it, consider buying the gold version to support the project. The gold version of PPSSPP is literally the exact same as the free version, except the icon is gold and it'll set you back about $5. Moving on, and we're talking about Nintendo Switch emulation with Ryujinx, and Ryujinx got a small update. So if you've got an Intel GPU, you're probably going to like this update. If you don't, you're probably not going to notice anything at all. As of version 1.1.1330, it fixes invisible characters on Intel GPUs in Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. Next up, we're talking about limited run games, and limited run games is in the news again, and arguably not for the right reasons, again. So here is their tweet. You may have seen our Clock Tower Rewind PC release and asked, LRG, what the heck is a PC Micro Edition? It's a new way that we've presented our entry-level PC editions. PC Micro Editions include a DRM-free version of the game on USB in a collectible printed mini box. And you've probably guessed it, the problem seems to be with that USB. Here's a zoomed-in picture of it for reference. Now you've probably already guessed it as well. Limited Run is getting absolutely roasted in their comments. Here's one here. Limited Run unveiling their $60 PC editions like. And one underneath it, I've legit seen that USB stick on AliExpress for like 25 cents if you buy 100 of them. This person says they'd prefer a DRM-free pressed disc, and they had to specify pressed because of a previous limited run blunder. They get that they're obsolete, but a laser-engraved thumb drive in a clamshell box doesn't scratch that itch for an archived physical copy. Also, USB-A is quickly being phased out. This will be just as obsolete as a DVD soon enough. Collectible box, my brother in Christ, it's literally just a white label cheapo Alibaba item. And the comments like this go on and on and on. It's actually pretty hard to find a positive one. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. Is this something you're interested in? What are your thoughts about limited run games? And what are your thoughts about physical versus digital media nowadays? Next up, we're talking about Simple Launcher, which just got a brand new update. For those who may not be aware, Simple Launcher is an emulator front end that makes playing retro games a breeze. So at the time of filming, version 2.14.3 just dropped. It's a small update, but a nice update. They've improved the automatic update mechanism and fixed a bug that was preventing the next and previous buttons from working properly. Simple Launcher is 100% free. It's open source, it's available for PC, and I'll drop a link to it in the description below. Feel free to check it out. Moving on, and we're talking about Nintendo DS emulation with NooDS, and NooDS just got a brand new update. For those who may be unaware, NooDS gets updated quite frequently, and it's on a rolling release. So according to their GitHub, their latest rolling release has a few new things in it. They've added an upscaled filter option, and they've implemented basic state saving and loading. Next up, we're talking about Rodland, and Rodland was a physical platformer released back in 1990, and it's getting its first physical release in North America. In addition to the NES version that's getting a release, the Game Boy version is as well. Both collector's editions are up for pre-order on retrobit.com. Rodland for NES is going for about $55, and Rodland for Game Boy is going for about $45. Let me know your thoughts about these games in the comments below. Have you played them before? And are you excited about a physical release? Next up, we're quickly talking about Xbox and Game Pass, and if you've got either of those, you might be excited about this rumor. Octopath Traveler II is rumored to be heading to Xbox and Game Pass. Now, if you remember, this game was already announced for the Xbox back at the Tokyo Game Show in 2023, but we've apparently now got a date when it's coming out. I'll drop a link to the source of this rumor in the description below, and feel free to check it out. They say Octopath Traveler 2 debuts on Xbox in June, has a Day 1 Game Pass title. Next up is a quick heads up for probably a small group of people, but Ubuntu has announced that Ubuntu 23.10 Mantic Minotaur reaches end of life on July 11th of this year. If you are using this version of the distro, it may be worth updating to something different. Next up, we're still talking about Linux. This is another quick one, but probably applies to a lot more people. NVIDIA has just released brand new drivers. Version 550.90.07. I'll drop a link to it in the description below. They contain a whole bunch of bug fixes. Moving on, and we're talking about yet another gaming handheld that's probably going to be hitting the market sometime soon. It's the Zotac Gaming Zone. It was unveiled at Computex 2024. The gaming zone is reportedly powered by an AMD Ryzen 7 8840U, but has an unusually smaller battery at 48.5 watt-hours. I mean, for reference here, the Steam Deck has a 40 watt-hour battery. I believe the OLED Steam Deck has a 50 watt-hour battery. And the new Asus ROG Ally X has an 80 watt-hour battery. The Zotac Gaming Zone will be running Windows. I think that this device does have potential, but I'm a little bit worried about that D-pad and also the battery life. Let me know your thoughts about the Zotac Gaming Zone in the comments below. Do you think this is going to be great for a portable device, or with that battery and that CPU, do you think it's going to be more geared towards being plugged in all the time? And speaking about gaming handhelds, next up we're talking about MSI, and MSI has just released the MSI Claw, and they've already announced the next version of it. The MSI Claw 8 AI Plus. This is reportedly going to have an Intel Core Ultra processor in it. Additionally here, it appears that we're getting into the special edition versions of these handhelds. I mean, MSI has partnered with Bethesda for a limited edition version of their Claw. So let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts about MSI unveiling a brand new Claw just fresh off the release of the initial one. Let me know your thoughts about the Fallout Edition version of it, and let me know your thoughts about them using the Intel Ultra Core processors. And speaking about Intel and Lunar Lake, next up we're talking about Intel and Lunar Lake. So this may be a big deal for some people, and some people may not care about it. But apparently the RAM is being built right into the SoC and will not be able to be upgraded. There's already a ton of information out there about Lunar Lake processors, but in my opinion, the whole thing is very interesting. I mean, Intel just moved to Meteor Lake and they're already abandoning this architecture altogether. I'll drop a link to this article in the description below, but Android Authority is going as far as to say his Meteor Lake structure was a failure. Next up, if you're a fan of Jak and Daxter, you may be a fan of this. The unofficial PC port of Jak and Daxter now has online multiplayer. I'll drop a link to this video in the description below, and I do recommend checking it out. So the mod is called Team Run, so I'll drop a link to this site in the description below as well. They say it's releasing on June 5th, which if you check your calendars is probably already June 5th by the time you're watching this video. They say the mod allows you to play through the game with others in a shared game world with interactable players. All in-game cutscenes that normally interrupt the game flow have also been modified to run in real time to work better with multiplayer. It's also worth pointing out they say the mod in general is mostly catered towards speedrunning with built-in in-game timers, splits, and automatic leaderboard submission and verification through the use of demo files, but also does come with some other game modes for casual play and a recording tool for creating custom demo files. And last up here, we're talking about someone's home-built controller that looks cool, is very functional, and is primarily designed for the iPhone. I'll drop a link to Eternal Progression's YouTube video in the description below, and I do recommend checking it out even if you don't have an iPhone. The whole design and creation process they've highlighted is very interesting. What they've ended up here is with a PSP Go inspired case that is very functional, seems very comfortable to use, and is very portable. It's got a built-in kickstand, it appears to be put together very well, and the phone attaches to it with magnets. Honestly, this setup seems to be a lot better than some of the setups put out by big companies. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.